Hello and welcome to My Favorite Movie Is, a podcast celebrating our favorite movies through fresh, positive perspectives from passionate movie lovers. I'm your host and fellow movie lover, Larry Freed, and you are listening to The Bonus Round, a fun spin-off segment from our main show in which we ask our guest a series of fun, sometimes silly questions to gain even more insights into their all-time favorite movie and why they love it. Questions like, which movie would you pair it with to make a double feature? Or would you have taken a prop from this movie home with you? Or, in the Monopoly edition of your movie, what are the 6 playable tokens? You know, the important stuff. Today's guest is illustrator and medical professional Senary Wright, and her film of choice is Hereditary, the modern horror masterwork from director Ari Aster. Now, if you haven't yet listened to our initial conversation on Hereditary, in which Senary shares her incredibly powerful story that deeply connects her to Hereditary and will give you brand new insights into just how effective the film is, you should listen to that first. It's available on the show page on whatever podcast app you're listening on right now, or it's on our website at mfmipodcast.com/hereditary. But for those of you who did your homework, you'll know that my conversation with Senary was pretty heavy. So I hope you'll enjoy a much lighter back and forth, maybe with a few jokes thrown in there for good measure, on this week's installment of the My Favorite Movie Is Bonus Round. Give me your raw answers. You have not seen the list of these questions, I don't think, so this should be interesting. First question.
Yeah.
If you could take one prop home from this movie, which would it be?
The head.
You want the head?
You want the head?
You want the head? Why?
Because that shit's cool.
Well, it's actually which head? Because there's, I think, 2. There's the side of the road, and then there's the head on payment at the end.
That's still Charlie's head.
Yeah, but it's not the exact same head.
Yeah,
they
it's
probably
just
made 2 different versions of the head in terms of props.
Oh, it's the same head?
It's the exact same head? Then how'd they do the flies on it? Is that all digital?
Yeah, that's true. I'll take the head. I wanted the fucking head puzzle A24 was selling, and I missed out on the drop. So yeah, I would really enjoy that.
You should have aimed for the head.
You should. All right, Thanos.
What is your favorite Sonic moment in the film? So either a piece of score or a moment of sound design.
When they're in the attic and the son is crying and he stops and all you hear is and then you look up and it's Toni Collette with her eyes bulging almost, and she's just like and it's like there's no music, just love that. Oof.
The sound design is incredible.
It's disturbing, but I love it.
Absolutely. If you were able to get one frame of this film, printed, framed, and hung up in your home, which would it be?
The scene where the dad catches on fire.
Yeah. That's
when the demon takes over.
Demon possesses her, right?
Yeah.
That is such a crazy scene.
Love it. Love a lot of visuals that I really appreciate in this movie.
Yeah.
Visually, very beautiful film also, by the way.
It's one of the very few films that, like, in a certain way, like, kind of looks ugly.
Yeah.
But is, like, really
really
well crafted in terms of like the coloring and like everything. And it's not like it's without contrast. Some people are like, oh, just low contrast. I'm like, no, there are some moments that have really high contrast. Like one of my favorite shots in the film is the first shot of Peter after he's decapitated Charlie, and it's just him looking out like that
with the blinking lights.
Yeah, and it's like it's got so much contrast, but like every detail on the hair is there. And then he's like you drive back, and it's really, really well done. The colors, and like. Do the second act, all of the images, and the third act.
Oh, I love when Peter
stellar.
gets possessed and he's like in
class.
Yeah. That's another good scene. Yeah, and he's like, he looks in his reflection. His reflection's just smiling at him.
Yes.
The scene where Toni Collette's body is slowly floating up to the treehouse with no head.
Oh my god.
So many good visuals.
Dude, when she silently when there's that shot that I will never get out of my brain where it's Peter and you see Toni Collette in the corner. It's like iconic shot.
Yeah.
And then the very next shot when he looks over, she silently floats.
Yeah.
It looks like she's floating, but she's also kind of climbing the walls.
Yeah.
Incredible moment. Do you own any memorabilia based on the film?
Yes, I actually have like a pin of Toni Collette's head on my jean jacket.
The A24 sold that, right?
Yeah, my best friend Lewis got it for me. We actually have matching pens.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, so it's like Toni Collette's screaming face, and it's on my jacket.
It's the face where when she sees the flies on Peter's head, right?
Yeah,
that's the basis for
and
it?
she's like screaming. Yeah,
iconic moment. Is there a book, article, or other published piece that you think would make for a really good piece of like further reading? So like you just watched Hereditary and you're looking to read up on it a little bit. What would you recommend first?
I don't remember the exact name of the article that I emailed you, but the article where it talks about finding joy almost in familiar grief. And the way
that's the Deptford Cinema analysis, right?
Yeah, and it talks about how it's okay to lean into that aspect and how these films can be like a stepping stone and how you manage your own emotions.
That was a really interesting analysis of the film. That analysis is really interesting. We'll definitely link it in the show notes.
Oh yeah, I think it's like a great.
It's interesting because it also goes into sort of the gender element of the film, which I don't think a lot of people talk about.
Yeah, a lot of people don't talk about that, and that's why I brought up the point. Like both female leads, their feelings are never validated.
Yeah, but not even with Toni Collette, but also with Charlie.
Yeah,
and like Charlie being the choice initially to be the surrogate body for payment.
Yeah, she never had like autonomy.
Yeah, it's a really great piece, and it talks a lot about Toni Collette's character almost enjoying being like living in her trauma.
Which is why she never wants to leave out of it.
Right. Very fascinating analysis. We'll definitely link that in the show notes. If you could have been a fly on the wall for one day of the production process, whether it's pre-production or post, which would it have been?
I would have loved to have seen the way Toni fully embodied a grieving mother in that bedroom. I would have loved to have seen how she got into the headspace for that and then also came out of it. Because when she talks about the film, she's like, I had a blast.
That's what they always talk about with these horror films. They're like, we had so much fun. It was so great.
But with her, she was like, there was no issue.
Yeah. Apparently, Alex Wolff and Ari Aster got super tight.
Yeah. Like, yo, you traumatized me. Oh, also, just a tidbit before I forget. If any of y'all can find it, please let us know because I would love to read it. But there's floating around in the nether. There's an alternative ending to the movie.
Ooh.
Where they did like a test screen where Peter actually gouges out his own eyes, and that's why there's like a scene in the film where Peter's eyes are crossed out.
Yeah, those are the illustrations that Charlie draws of his eyes being crossed out. Interesting. Yeah, when I watched it for the second time before this recording, I was like, oh, when are we gonna get the
there's actually a scene where he gouges out his eyes, and Ari was like, maybe that's a little bit too much, and like the test audience was like, maybe,
yeah, please.
But I'm trying to find
maybe they would have gotten a D cinema score then if they had included.
I know
it
would have gotten a fucking 99 Rotten Tomato, but I would give anything to read the original script. If anyone can find it or like find, a really shifty recording of that, please. I'm craving it. I've been craving it.
Pass it along.
And if I can find it first, like I'll most definitely tell Larry and then he'll link it. But the script.
Got you.
But
yeah, because Senary's kind of a ghost online, so
yeah, I don't have.
If you're trying to send Senary messages, you got to go through me.
Yeah, you got to go through me. Like everything's on lockdown. There's nothing. I mean, you can send me a DM on my Instagram, but I'm gonna be honest. Your girl may respond like weeks later.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just set the expectations.
Yeah, I'm just letting y'all know. Like, don't try to find me because you won't.
Much like Aster, she's mums.
Very.
In the Monopoly, in Hereditary Monopoly.
Yeah.
What are the 6 playable tokens that you can choose from to move around the board?
Oh, okay.
They can be, and again, they can be either people or items. Because in Monopoly, you can play as like a thimble.
Okay. Charlie's head.
Charlie's head. That's one. So immediate spoilers if you buy Hereditary Monopoly.
Yeah, just Charlie's head.
Charlie's head.
A candle.
Oh, the seance candle.
A seance candle. A peanut.
Oh.
A pencil. The like necklace. I guess the charm on the necklace, that could be like a moving piece. Like the symbol.
The symbol, yeah.
Yeah. What is that, 5?
That's 5.
Yeah. And then I guess the other piece could be the treehouse.
The treehouse.
Yeah.
I have a couple that I would do. I would do Alex Wolff's like nose bandaged head with the crown on it.
Oh, would you do the bird?
I was about to say I would do the bird toy that she makes.
The bird toy, yeah.
That's a good one. I would also do like, I would consider doing a Toni Collette head.
Yeah.
Like the
head. Yeah.
And then I would also consider, this one might be a bit harder to pull off, but like a version of the house, like the miniature model of the house.
No, yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
I think would be a
that would be really cool.
But the head, definitely. Charlie's head, absolutely.
Oh, you want to know something funny? I just thought about this too. We only see the dog once.
Yeah, the dog is growling and stuff, right? In that scene with Peter. Does Peter hear the growling?
No.
They pet the dog in the beginning, and there is one scene where like you hear the dog growling, like the dog's like.
Yeah, but I mean, other than that, I'm like, do they really have a dog? Like, because my man seemed like he was a side character that just never got the visual cue.
Absolutely.
Maybe that was Ari's dog.
If you had to have one quote from this movie engraved on your tombstone, what would it be? That's actually a little. That's actually a very topical question for this film.
Damn. Don't you ever yell at me, you little shit. I am your mother.
Funny enough, I would do like the next one where she goes, and then you just give me that fucking face on your face.
Like, yeah, you give me that fucking face on your face. And then dad looks down like, God damn. God damn.
Don't you swear at me, you little shit. Don't you ever raise your voice at me. I am your mother. Do you understand? All I do is worry and slave and defend you. And all I get back is that fucking face on your face.
Yeah, I would do that.
It's not a particularly, well, there, besides for that scene, there really isn't that many quotes from the film, surprisingly, that I remember. But it does all feel so encapsulated, the whole thing.
Yeah.
There isn't not that much dialogue in the film.
No,
frankly.
actually, that's why I say like it's a very tense movie.
Yeah. If you were curating a double feature with Hereditary and another film, and you've brought up a couple of films during the main episode, but which additional film would you choose and in what order would they be programmed?
I think, let me think about this. That's so interesting. I never thought of like Hereditary being paired up with another movie.
And you can't pick Midsommar.
I was about to say, I wasn't going to do that because everyone does that.
Right. That's the obvious choice.
Yeah, that's the obvious choice. Oh, you know what? It's this movie about this woman. She has like dementia or whatever, but like it's like disguised as like this demon tale. I think it's called Ruin or something like that.
Are you talking about Relic?
Relic. Yeah.
Relic. That came out very recently too.
Yeah. I would do Relic and Hereditary as a double feature.
Because you would do Relic first and then Hereditary after? Very nice.
I think Relic dives in more so in the spookiness until the end, that's when you sit back and you're like, the allegory. The allegory. Yeah. And then where Hereditary leans more into like the familiar relationship and then the spooky.
Right. Those films are brought up pretty often together in the sort of canon of fucked up family movies. Yeah, well, there's like, you mentioned a couple others.
Like Babadook.
Yeah, there's like the Babadook, and then Haunting of Hill House is also one that people talk about a lot in terms of like the family dynamics and stuff.
That's true, I guess.
Yeah. Well, also Halloween, like the remake, the first remake.
Yeah.
Halloween Kills didn't do it so much.
Another movie too that kind of deals with family trauma, I guess you could say, is Antlers. We didn't talk.
Yeah,
it wasn't executed the greatest, but I really implore you to look up the short story it's based off of. Yes. Did you read it?
I did not get a chance
no,
to
that's okay.
I'm still getting used to not calling it the Winnebago.
Oh, the Winnebago.
The Wendigo.
The Winnebago.
I called it the Winnebago the first time, and I got accurately scolded for that
because that was hilarious.
It was very funny.
But Antlers is also, I feel like, a pretty good film because it hints at,
I liked it.
I liked it too. It hints at some pretty fucked up things concerning the sister and her relationship with the dad, and then and then the brother imploring saying that, you know, we don't know what happened with him because we don't. So it's like, well, did he turn his attention on him? So yeah, there's a lot of things you can build on with Antlers that I really appreciated.
In the Senary Autumn Personal Film Festival,
Yeah.
alongside Hereditary, if you want to include it,
Yeah.
what 4 films are a part of the day-long Senary Autumn Film Festival? It could be any 4 films you want.
Okay. 28 Days Later. No Children of Men.
You mean?
No, Children.
You mean Children of Men.
Children of Men, sorry.
Yeah, you got it.
You got it. I was getting 2 movies.
No country. You got No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
No Children for Old Men.
Old men don't deserve children. Fuck your family homes. You guys don't deserve kids. 28 Days Later, Children of Men. Damn, I have to think about this. The Thing. An Alien, I guess you could say.
That's a wild quadrilogy of films. There.
I know.
That would be such a fun day.
Don't let me throw in How the Grinch Stole Christmas if I could really keep it going.
And I think what's fascinating is, like, again, you talk about Hereditary. This was part of the main episode, but you talked about in Hereditary how, like, it's not really your favorite film by choice.
Yeah.
So if you chose to curate it, like, you wouldn't put it in there because it's just too personal.
It's too personal. Funny enough, when Larry first, you know, inquired me to do this podcast, originally I was going to do 28 Days Later. And then I was like, maybe I'll do The Thing. Because I talk about The Thing a lot. But then I was like, you know, watching his podcast and listening to it, I was like, you know, it's so easy to pick the old school, you know? Like, let's talk about new films. Because I feel like whenever we talk about film, you know, just outside of us, we talk about more recent things, but everyone always just focuses on the past. And it's like, it's okay to celebrate what's coming out now. Like, I still want to see that movie with the phone. The black phone.
The black phone.
Yeah, that's what's called.
Is that what it's called? The black phone? Something like that.
When does it come out?
Did it not already?
This month?
Yeah, because didn't it get delayed?
It has
Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke plays the guy in the mask.
That's why I was really
that looked really interesting. I feel like the trailer probably gave away too much, but it did look like it was interesting.
Yeah, it did.
How many times have you seen this film, Hereditary?
Deadass? You want me to expose myself?
For real?
15.
You're real? Really?
Being serious.
When was the last time you watched this movie with another person?
Like a week ago. I watched it with my aunt. She watched it for the first time. I watched it
And what was that experience like?
It was just interesting. My aunt, her taste in horror film, she likes seeing people get fucked up, okay? And she also likes, you know, she's like, give me the scare, give me the spooky. I want to get scared. She's so funny. She's like, she'll watch these horror films and then be like, I can't sleep with the light off.
Dude, I cannot watch this movie with the lights off. I was texting Senary while I was watching it the night before this recording session, and dude, I got 15 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, nah.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking to myself, like, is it really that bad? So then when I watched it this morning, I was like,
no, yeah, because the reason this movie gets me so much is because it's so, I hate the sense of unease in movies.
Yeah,
like unease and
unease.
tension is just it ruins me, because that fear is like something I really thrive on in terms of the movie going experience. And like that's what this movie is from the jump. Yeah. So like I can't watch it with the lights off because I'm afraid that Toni Collette's gonna jump at me.
Fucking bite your face
and
off.
There was even a point like 30 minutes in where I told Steven, it was not even the car crash hadn't even happened yet, or the accident. I was like, can't wear it with headphones. Can't do it. I had to like take my headphones off, like watch it with my shitty computer speakers, because I was like, it's too real. Yeah. It's too real.
Yeah, it's disturbing. And you know what's funny? I don't like jump scares, which is why I don't typically watch a lot.
Me neither. I don't really like them either.
Mainstream horror, because I fucking hate jump scares. Like, I just now could play, I'm gonna expose myself. Don't call me a furry. I just now started playing Five Nights at Freddy. I could never play that game like past me because
that's jump scare the game.
Yeah, like who the fuck thrives? Y'all just like that shit. But also, I don't like riding roller coasters because I don't like that feeling of my heart racing.
Well, that's just constant. That's like jump scare for like a minute and a half. Yeah,
like so that's why I don't like jump scares. But recently, I started to appreciate them because I think they're kind of funny now. Like before, I think it's just like the shock of like, oh my fucking god. Yeah. But now you're like, okay. And you know what? jump scares aren't necessarily bad. It's when you have a jump scare and it's like, boom, 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 and you're like, what the fuck? Like, it's like loud. Like, if you're gonna scare me, scare me. Don't be loud with it. Okay?
Yeah, if you want to hear us talk about good jump scares, you can listen to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre episode, which has...
Yeah, no, the original, like, that...
And like they're barely even jump scares, but like I guess by technical, I mean, Hereditary is one of the best jump scares when Toni Collette comes out from the wall.
Yeah, and you're like,
brilliant.
Oh my fucking God.
The music cue,
yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
What character from this film would you most like to get dinner with, and why?
The dad. What's it like having your wife being psychotic and knowing she tried to kill not one but two of your children,
and being a therapist and not being able to help her?
Yeah, for real. Like, being a therapist, not being able to help her. And then also, like, did you know, like, your wife's mom was fucked up? Did you sense some weirdness? Or were you just like, that ain't my fucking problem?
Well, I think that he was the reason behind them not talking. I think he had to maintain that no contact rule.
Yeah.
So he definitely saw something was up.
Yeah.
Last question. Is there somebody that you'd like to share this film with that you haven't yet?
No.
Not one.
I shared it with everyone I loved.
I love that. Plug where people can find you.
Okay, so you can find me on Senasium on Instagram.
Can you spell that for the good people?
Yes, it's spelled SENA.
Great. Love that.
Wait.
IISM, right?
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
SENAIISM
on
Instagram.
On Instagram.
Her art is fantastic. Her illustration is amazing. Follow her. Senary, thanks for being on the show. Thanks for talking about Hereditary.
Thanks for having me, dude. I love your podcast. I really do. Man. My aunt is like vibrating at home to watch this episode.
It's gonna be a good one.
She, I'm just honestly happy that she wanted to hear me talk about Hereditary.
You had so many good things to say.
I'm not the most articulate, guys, but
you did it.
I was like, for Larry, I would put my big girl hat on. You know how hard it was for me not to curse and just not be like brawling? Okay,
but you did curse a lot.
I did curse, but like compared to like how I am normally.
Yeah, no,
like
definitely.
My jokes, I toned down because I was like professional.
You definitely toned it down.
So, thanks for having me.
Pleasure to have you. This bonus round brings up just one of the many great parts about separating this segment into its own segment on the feed, because we can do all of the difficult conversation or intellectual conversation in our actual episode, and then kick back and have some fun and crack some jokes during the bonus round every other week. It's really fun, and it brings basically two different kinds of shows on one feed for you, the listener. So I really hope that you enjoyed this week's bonus round, and I hope you guys had a lot of fun hearing from Senary. As you can see, or hear rather, she's incredibly hilarious and a one-of-a-kind human being. She is one of my dearest friends, and I'm so glad that I could have her on my show. But now I ask you, what movie would you pair with Hereditary to make a double feature? Is there a newer horror masterwork that should be celebrated amidst the classics? And is 15 times too many times to have seen Hereditary for one lifetime? Spoiler alert, the answer is yes. But let me know your thoughts anyway in the free My Favorite Movie Is Discord community. We've been talking about Hereditary all throughout this past week in anticipation of this episode, and people have been sharing the movies that personally terrify them, and the answers have been really interesting. Some horror films, some not horror films. And that's what's so great about our community. It's a place for fans of the show to come together, talk about the movies they love, and broaden their perspectives and cinematic palettes together. It's completely free to join, and by being a member of the community, you get to take part in daily discussions, fun fan contests, and of course, the community watch-alongs. We just did one for Hereditary, as I mentioned before, and we're gonna watch the next movie we're covering on the show, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Find out how you can join us for that and more by clicking on the link in the show notes to join the free My Favorite Movie Is Discord community. I'll see you there. My Favorite Movie Is a Larry Freed Presents production. It was created by and is currently produced and hosted by me, Larry Freed. Our sound recordist for this episode was Stephen Reyes, and our editor for this episode was Fernando Queiroz. Our graphic designer is Monica Sarmiento, our motion graphics designer is Elton Greenfield, and our theme song, Now and Then, as well as all original music featured on this show, is composed and performed by Matt Gorduke. A special thank you to Senary for being just an incredible guest and also being so generous with sharing her deeply personal story with us. And a special thanks to everybody who gave me feedback on this episode before it was released, including our patrons, Keith, Tony, Mo, Sean, and Taylor. You guys are literally helping to make this show possible. If you are interested in supporting My Favorite Movie Is and getting some exclusive benefits in the process, you can join us at patreon.com/MFMI podcast. My name is Larry Freed, and this has been My Favorite Movie Is.